It's a fine warm day here in North Carolina, and the stock car racing faithful have come by the thousands to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 14th running of the National 500 for NASCAR Grand National Stock Cars, and this is a feature event on the fall schedule. It's made even more attractive today by the fact that $100 is going to be paid to the lead car for each lap. The man breaking on the pole is David Pearson in the Woods Brothers Mercury. He's won 10 out of 15 races he started this year, and he's stock car racing's newest millionaire. Outside on the front row, it's Cale Yarborough, who has come very strong the last few weeks. Junior Johnson and Herb Nebb giving him a good race car, and he is a Charger. On the second row, two-time winner of the National 500, back-to-back champion Bobby Allison. And the fortunes of racing nuts are good for him this year, but he's up in front along with this fella, Richard Petty, who's won races everywhere, but never here. Richard Petty looking for his first win on this racetrack. Buddy Baker, hometown boy, he's had a lot of success here, won the World 600 earlier this year. So Buddy's got to be tough, and there's the youngster Darrell Waltrip. So they're getting ready to go on the track. Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. You know, in every major automobile race, the big story comes out of the garage area. Well, here at the National 500 in Charlotte, the big story came before the start of the race as Charlie Glotzback sat on the pole at a better than 158 miles an hour. When it came to technical inspection, they nailed it. The restrictor plate under the carburetor wasn't quite right, and so he moved off the pole to the back of the pack. Now, NASCAR Grand National Racing, every effort has been made to keep it competitive. Keep the cars as close competitively as you possibly can, and thereby returning a great deal of driving skill to it. But for information on what is a restrictor plate and how it affects the automobile, let's turn to Roger Penske, who has an automobile in here. Roger?
Well, Keith, as you can see, I have the basic carburetor that all the fellows are using on the track. It has the size hole, as you can see here. And this is a restrictor plate that NASCAR has put into the work this year in order to slow the cars down for safety. This plate sets underneath the carburetor, and the whole unit sets on top of the engine. That would be the same thing if I was a miler and someone said, all right, tape off one side of your nose and try to run a mile. It would slow me down because it takes air and fuel to go through these holes. Well, yesterday, Charlie Glotzback was able to take the bottom part of the plate and slide it out, so these holes were then opened up, and that allowed more air and fuel to go through, and basically more horsepower and more speed.
There's just no substitute for a little backyard engineering, is there?
Well, they said the good old boys know how to do it down here.
I'll guarantee you there's a whole lot of truth to it. Okay, we're going to get the call now to fire them up out on the starting line.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Roger Penske now jumping over the pit wall. Roger's going to have a busy day today as he gets the fancy coat off and gets down to business for his car number 2, driven by Dave Marcus. So we thank him for taking the time to explain some of the details about this restrictor plate, which has been such a major story throughout this week here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, the Charlie Glotzback story is not the first time that this kind of thing has come up. It is perhaps the most dramatic, but it has happened before. And just before the drivers moved into their cars, we spent some time talking with some of the people about it, particularly Lynn Kukler, Executive Vice President of NASCAR. When did it all start, Lynn? When did cheating start?
Well, originally, I'd have to go back, and someone asked me yesterday, when did you start checking? When did you find out they were trying to beat you? And I said 2.5 years ago when we went to the plate, because we had kind of a changeover. We started with aluminum plates, and they used to reach in and use a little piece of emery and put a bevel on it to get a better flow. Then we went to the steel plate, and we found out that they were able to take the end of a ball-peen hammer and reach in and bevel it to get a flow. Then we went to the plate, and you remember about 1.5 years ago, we caught somebody with inserts that fell out. And the latest development we had yesterday is we found a plate that actually had the old false bottom trick. And looking down into it, it appeared to be legal, but you could slip the bottom plate out, which gave it a full 1 11/16 opening in contrast to the required size, which is a smaller size.
I guess they had a job to do, and really the only thing that upset us was that we didn't qualify with the cheater plate on. We had it in there Sunday. We put it in Thursday for the race Sunday to try to get some of this $100 a lap money is really the reason we did it. So really, that's the only thing that upset us was that, and you know, in the past they have found stuff like this and left the car in a position that it qualified and just fined the guys. So I guess they just trying to make an example out of us.
All right, coming from the back, it means you got a lot of people you got to pick off. Do you have the equipment that that can do it in the space of 500 miles?
Well, I definitely think that we'll be right up front, especially if, if there's a caution flag or something comes out pretty soon. Well, that'll move us right up with the fast cars, and even if not, I'd say in, 30 laps or so, we should be right up there pretty close to them anyway.
Some pre-race comments of Charlie Glotzbach, the man who qualified the fastest but was placed at the back of the pack, and that's where he will start. We'll get him running in a moment. The National 500, NASCAR Grand National Stock Car Racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina is about to begin. The pace car is off the track, the green flag is out, and we're racing. Breaking from the outside on the front row, car number 11, Chevrolet, driven by Cale Yarborough of Timmonsville, South Carolina, jumps into the lead. Car number 21, David Pearson, the pole sitter in the Woods Brothers Mercury, running alongside car number 43, Richard Petty's Dodge. Mile and a half track, high-banked oval, very fast track, combining a lot of the qualities from both the super speedway and from the shorter tracks. Pearson moves up in front of Petty. Richard now running in third place. Bobby Allison driving car number 12. Back there in fourth spot, the leader is Cale Yarborough. Cale running very well over the last few weeks. And of course, the biggest story has been, leading up to the race start, the restrictor plate, who's using them and how. And the story of Charlie Glotzbach, the fastest of the qualifiers, found to have an illegal restrictor plate, and back in the pack he goes. And Buddy Baker, the hometowner, driving car number 71. Darrell Wolfriff is car number 15. Now, we must watch Charlie Glotzbach as he works his way through the pack. Charlie indicating to us, as you heard earlier, that it's a little dicey when you've got to work your way through the slower vehicles. But he felt he had the gear, but he's really going to have to do something spectacular to get a shot at this fella up in front right now, Cale Yarborough, driving car number 11. David Pearson drafting his move right in behind Yarborough and closed quite a bit of distance, particularly as they came off the back straight. Car number 28, the yellow car right there, is Charlie Glotzbach. And let's see, now he has picked off 11, 12, 13, 14, about 19 automobiles in 2.5 laps. He has really been charging. Number 28, right there. The crowd watching Charlie Glotzbach. That's obvious as he clears the slower group and gets out into the open, and they roar their appreciation. Meantime, up front, it is still Cale Yarborough, the councilman from Timmonsville, and David Pearson. David Pearson winning 10 out of 15 races this year, and he has become the second millionaire in race winnings in NASCAR Grand National Stock Car Racing. Buddy Baker in car number 71 right there, running alongside Richard Petty. Baker has won more money on this racetrack than anybody else. They're fighting right there for third place. Buddy has won $135,000 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Car number 25 dropping down and slowing down. Jabe Thomas having a little trouble early in the race. Go back here now and check on Charlie Glotzbach again as he continues to work his way through the traffic, and the boys pretty good about moving over, giving him room, and he's now getting close to putting himself inside the top 10. Car number 11, Cale Yarborough, who had a fling at USAC Racing and then came back home. And he's done very well. And Buddy Baker, with some tire smoke, goes drifting high, and Richard Petty works down underneath him. Richard Petty never won on this racetrack. He's won everywhere else and was Stock Car Racing's first millionaire in winning. But this is the one racetrack where Richard has had no luck. And you know, and I know, you gotta have some luck along the way. So Buddy Baker and Richard Petty running along there. Up front, it is Cale Yarborough leading. And in second place, it is David Pearson. Slower cars now dropping down inside to give the hot runners room to work. And they're pretty consistent in their grooves here as Baker now holds third place and Petty is fourth. But every once in a while, when you do get some traffic, you have to change your groove, and that's Cisco in 05. Cisco. Looks like he has dropped an engine, so he gets off the racetrack in a hurry, comes down pit road, and there is no yellow flag. Oftentimes when you see something like that happens, it means that an engine is blown or some oil may have been dropped on the track. In this case, not. We'll be back with more in a moment. You might say the boys are getting on it at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Cale Yarborough is leading the National 500, running better than 150 miles an hour. And Cale Yarborough is ringing a cash register every time he comes around. Up in turn 4, there's a dollar sign. And every time the leader goes by that dollar sign, he collects $100. Before the race, I talked with the drivers about it, how they felt about the lap money. And so far, it's been a heck of a show, particularly this man, Charlie Glotzbach, who was the fastest qualifier, but who was moved to the back of the pack by the NASCAR officials because he had an illegal restrictor plate on his car, and Charlie now has worked his way from the back into the top 10. He's going to really... He put himself in the history books if he can get by this guy, though. Cale Yarborough in car number 11. And Yarborough is out in front, leading from the very beginning, and his machine is really singing right now. You know, it's not necessarily so that a driver would know about that either. A driver might not know about it. And we've had a change in the order as David Pearson has dropped back with Buddy Baker moving into second spot, and Richard Petty third now. And Pearson is fourth, and Petty, you see, moving up on Baker, going into the turn. He's got enough room, and he's going to take it. It appears that Buddy's car is producing quite a bit of tire smoke, particularly up in turn number 4, it seems. It's getting a lot of tire smoke. He may be a little loose. Richard Petty now, who is number 1 on this racetrack, has moved up into the number 2 spot, but he is well back from the leader, Cale Yarborough. Every time Cale goes around, the old cash register ring. You see both Petty and Baker there with tire smoke. The weather very comfortable. The temperature in the middle 70s. Quite a comfortable day, and a big crowd watching so far a straight automobile race with Cale Yarborough holding a comfortable lead. Not so comfortable back in the pack, though. 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Richard Petty in the red and blue, Buddy Baker, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, and running in 6th place right now, it is Charlie Glotzbach. So Charlie has come from the back of the pack to the number 6 position. David Pearson, who was among the front runners early, running right behind Cale Yarborough, running in 4th spot. Here's the relationship now. 5th place back to Glotzbach in that yellow car, number 28, in the number 6 position, and working his way through the traffic and really running hard right now. Kind of interesting that before the race we were talking to Charlie. Oh, here's the yellow flag. He had said if I get lucky early and get a yellow, it'll help me to move up through the pack under the NASCAR Grand National close-up rule, under the yellow flag. You tighten up the field, and of course, under the yellow, this early in the race, everybody is going to hit the pits. Now, Charlie said he ought to be up among the front runners by lap number 30. A yellow flag would help him. He got the yellow flag on lap number 31. How about that? And everybody hits the pits. So we'll have a jumble here for the leadership, and we'll be back to check them for you in just a moment. All right, we are getting green flag racing again here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway at the National 500, and we indicated to you that we would have some changes in leadership, and let's set them for you. David Pearson, car number 21, has gone into the lead after that succession of pit stops. Buddy Baker is running in 2nd place in car 71. Bobby Allison in car number 12 is in 3rd spot. Charlie Glotzbach has moved up into 4th spot off the pit stop and the caution light. Cale Yarborough came off pit road in 5th position. Richard Petty is running 6th. There's your leader, car number 21, David Pearson. And Darrell Waltrip is in the number 7 spot. There's Allison, number 12 of the Chevy. Bobby has won this event successively and would like to make it 3 in a row. Matter of fact, Bobby in his career has taken over $124,000 out of this racetrack. 4th place is Charlie Glotzbach. Now, Cale Yarborough right there is running in 5th, number 11. Richard Petty, number 43, is in 6th place. And Darrell Waltrip, number 15, is running in 7th. And they're kind of in two groups here. You've got the leader, Pearson and Baker and Allison and Glotzback, and then you drop back to 5, 6, and 7. So Buddy Baker right now has moved right in behind David Pearson. Bobby Allison's right behind him. Now, these fellows are going 150-plus miles an hour down the straights, and they're holding it up pretty good up in the turns. Now, here is where a factor called confidence or trust or what you want. They've got to trust each other. When you're going this close together at this speed, you really got to believe in the other guy. Charlie Glotzback goes in between them and gets third place as he nipped Bobby Allison sliding down from the top. Beautiful piece of driving by Glotzback, and he's taking a run at Baker. Can't get him. David Pearson, the leader, and Glotzback is fighting with Baker for second, and Bobby Allison is right in fourth spot. Very much a contender at this point for the lead. And the lead is worth $100 every time they finish a lap. Remember that, the lead car gets $100 every time they finish a lap. And Pearson right now is ringing that cash register sound. Monday night NFL football. Next Monday night, good one. Oakland at Denver, out of the Mile High City at 9 Eastern Time on ABC. So far, Buddy Baker able to fight Glotzback off. David Pearson holds the lead. Now comes the traffic. And Charlie Glotzback, who came from number 34 position for third place, has become quite a story. Not only because of the illegal restrictor plate that cost him the pole position, but the feat of driving that he's turned in so far here at Charlotte today. You see the slower cars, they get out low, give the big boys some room to scream at the top. Ooh, get a little tight there, look at that. No more than 3-4 feet separating the three lead cars. Pearson, Baker, and Glotzback. There's Bobby Allison, fourth place. Baker going for the lead. Buddy's got him. Buddy Baker goes into the lead. And here comes Glotzback trying to pass. Oh, Glotzback is loose on the wall against Pearson. Allison backing through it. Yarborough comes along. He makes it through. Petty just gets through. And Waltrip runs into Charlie Glotzback. Ray Williams in 47 spins, but he misses contact. So Darrell Waltrip, 15, is out of it. David Pearson, 21, is out of it. And Charlie Glotzback, number 28, is out of it. And so Glotzback's great run toward the lead suddenly dissipates right there on turn 4. Pearson's out of his car, and we can see Charlie Glotzback moving around, climbing out of his, so both drivers apparently are all right. Darrell Waltrip drives his car away, but it's heavily damaged and will not return. Charlie running out of the way into the safety of pit road. So we've got a caution light up as Glotzback lost control and took Pearson with him. And then along later came Waltrip, and take another look at it now, just as Buddy Baker in car number 71 passes low and gets in front of Pearson, taking the lead. Now Glotzback, coming off the draft, moves up alongside Pearson. Now right here, rear end, see it slide, tire smoke, and then something caused Glotzback to go almost straight right angles right in front of David Pearson, and he took Pearson right into the wall. Now watch how lucky you can be. Here is Bobby Allison on the right in red number 12. He starts to spin. Yarborough in the white car here comes through clean, just snakes by. But Bobby Allison goes into a spin and literally backed through the wreck and didn't touch anybody. So he's all right. He's got 4 tires that are flat on one side, but otherwise he's going to be all right. See him backing through here? Now, here comes Richard Petty, another one of the leaders up in that red and blue car. He just makes it. Now, the white car is Waltrip. No place to go. No room for Darrell, and so he wraps the right rear of his machine into Charlie Glotzback's crippled car, spins out of it, and 3 automobiles are gone. Here's Ray Williams now backing into it, but Ray, with a fine piece of driving, is able to hold it. Both drivers climb out. Both drivers apparently are all right, but a spectacular wreck up on turn 4. There's Charlie walking away from the debris. And David Pearson, we've seen already walking around. It'll be a while before they can clean it up. There's David. So we'll be back with more for you from Charlotte in a moment. Caution flag still out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the National 500. Car 21 wrecked. David Pearson's car. Car 28, Charlie Glotzbach's machine. It's also wrecked. They've got to be towed away. The track's got to be swept. The oil cleaned off. Let's see if we can get a word from Charlie.
Oh, I was underneath the pair seat or him in the left front. Either I got into his left front fender or front car load. I don't know which. I didn't see no yellow paint on his car, so I don't know.
Charlie, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What caused it? Do you have any idea?
I don't know what happened. I went under David, and I don't know whether the right front tire blowed or I got into him. I don't know which, but it just turned right and hit it into the wall, head on.
Get it going. Too bad.
Yeah, I was running real good.
So they're pulling 28 out of it, and Charlie Glotzbach will go back up and get ready to go home. And David Pearson, meantime, he's walking along, appears to be okay as well. You all right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you know what happened? Looked like it happened so quick.
Well, it did happen quick, but I was running high all the time, and Charlie just passed me, and just as he passed me, he lost it. And he tried to correct it, and I guess he overcorrected, and he spun back the other way, and then come right up in front of me.
There's no time for any kind of reaction at all.
Well, no, it was too close. In fact, he was just right on me, when it happened. I was right on him, and it's one of those things. It just couldn't be helped.
David, too bad.
Thanks.
So 3 Chargers are gone from the National 500. It's going to be quite a while before we get any more green light racing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So while we're waiting for the racing to begin, let's switch to our ABC studios in New York. As we resume our coverage of the National 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina, Cale Yarborough is in the lead. Richard Petty is second, and only 2 automobiles are in the same lap. We had a very long delay and a lot of pit stops because of the wreck on turn 4 that took out 3 automobiles capable of running with Cale Yarborough. This was the wreck. Buddy Baker in car number 71 had taken the lead. 28, Charlie Glotzbach, careening into the wall, out of control, taking David Pearson with him. Bobby Allison back through the wreck, escaped it. Cale Yarborough got through it. Richard Petty got through it, but number 15, Darrell Waltrip, did not. Ray Williams, 47, spinning around, apparently made some contact with the guardrail himself. But the 3 cars, 28, 15, and 21, all out of it. And here's the extent of the damage to Charlie Glotzbach's machine. As we see it along pit road right now, the fellows are packing it up, getting ready to haul it out. And here's something you don't see very often, the Woods Brothers Mercury, all beaten, battered up. I mean, it's really crunched. That's where Pearson was taken into the wall. And then number 15, Darrell Waltrip, was taken out as he was involved in the wreck. We'll be back with more in a moment. Well, this is Keith Jackson back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and let me again say, in the National 500, we have 2 cars in the same lap. Car number 11, that red and white Chevrolet right there, being driven by Cale Yarborough, has the lead, a substantial lead, over Richard Petty. Those are the only 2 cars in the same lap, a lap down, and in 3rd place is Bobby Allison. Now, Cale Yarborough has just been screaming, just flying through the field here. Let's stop here at the pit, get a hold of Herb Knapp, the crew chief, see what we can find out about that car. What is it you've got nobody else has got, Herb?
Well, Cale's driving the daylights out of that car, and we're going after the lap money. We decided to go after the lap money when the race started. And if we win the race, fine. If we break, that's another thing. But we definitely decided to go after the lap money.
It could be the biggest payday of the year, couldn't it?
Well, it'd be the biggest super speedway payoff in the year if we lead most of the laps to win the race.
Well, you've got enough laps behind you already to justify your decision.
Well, I guess you're right, but there's a lot of laps out there yet. Richard's running real strong, and there's a couple more out there running. I mean, the race ain't over with yet.
Thank you, Herb. Now, again, let me emphasize that you get $100 for every lap you lead. Richard Petty right there is running in 2nd place. Now, Petty has made a pit stop already. Cale Yarborough is due for one pretty soon. So that's going to be a very interesting moment. And in perspective here, you can see that Cale Yarborough does have a substantial lead. As a matter of fact, it's 3/4 of a lap lead over 2nd place Richard Petty. Now, Petty is moving up here on Allison. There in car number 12. He gets by, and he's going to put Bobby 2 laps down, because Cale's already lapped him the 2nd time. And if Richard goes by him, If he does, and he's going to, then Bobby Allison is 2 laps down. Let's stop in here at the Allison pit and talk with Donnie Allison, who's out of the race, about these 2 cars that are so dominant. Donnie, O'Kale's having a heck of a pace.
Yeah, he is, Keith. He's outrunning everybody about 2/10 a lap when he stands on it. And the only one I think that's got a chance to run with him now is Richard. Richard, the last pit stop, I don't know why they came in early, but since he went back out, he's been running pretty steamy, too.
Of course, both those people are kind of in a position where the car may be feeling a little better as the race goes on.
Yeah, I think so. I know Cale's car seems to be working awful well. He's running extremely fast down the straightaway, and Richard's running a little harder in the corners than Cale is, but I don't think Richard's running quite as fast down the straightaway. So I know, just like with Bobby driving the car as hard as he can drive it, so he's using more tires and everything too. He just can't keep up.
You got any guess as to what Herb Jr. and all those people have done to make Cale's car go so well?
No, I really don't, Keith, but whatever they've done the right thing.
All right, here's Junior Johnson now with his headset. That's a radio, so he can talk to Cale Yarborough, and Cale's going to be coming into the pits. They're getting all ready. Junior holding the can, and here comes the leader, Cale Yarborough, into the pits. Now we'll put a watch on him and see how long he's in the pits. And remember, Richard Petty is out there, and if he can get around before Yarborough leaves pit road, then he will have taken the lead. The clock running here. It's good, quick work. Junior Johnson wearing those goggles keeps the gas from splashing up into his face. See, it's splashing. When he pulls it out of there, here goes the second can. The right side rubber has already been changed. They're ready to go. It's just a matter now of getting enough gas in the car. They're off the jack, and the car's rolling, and it's just a little less than 19 seconds. All right, now let's see where Petty is. Petty coming around, coming down the grandstand straight. Here he comes as Yarborough comes off pit road, and Richard Petty moves into the lead, and the crowd roars. And we've got some news building. Now, Buddy Baker's car has been pulled out of the race and taken away from the garage area, and we understand that a protest has been made by Bobby Allison. So we've got a lot of things going here, and a lot of it apparently has to do with the restrictor plate, but Richard Petty is in the lead. Cale Yarborough is running second, and we're liable to have a rough and tough all-out finish. Back in a moment. The National 500 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway continues, and it's a 2-car race right now. Number 43, Richard Petty, and number 11, Cale Yarborough, a Dodge and a Chevrolet. They are really flying around this 1.5 mile high bank oval racetrack. Richard Petty has never won on this racetrack. Cale Yarborough has no victories in the National 500. Bobby Allison is in 3rd place. Bobby Allison is 2 laps down to these 2 automobiles. Yarborough lost his lead on the pit stop that we saw. Now, there's some question as to whether or not Richard Petty is going to be able to go the rest of the way without having to make another pit stop. The question right now, however, is can Yarborough take it? As he moves up alongside his door handle, and again, let me say that every time you complete a lap here, the lead car gets $100. They're side by side, full bore. Can Yarborough get him? Petty's up there pretty high. Cale trying to take him low. Both cars must be handling very well. I see no tire smoke at all. Traffic coming up. You see Yarborough fighting his car, and he almost lost control. You saw him really spinning that wheel, struggling with it to hold on, and Petty again stretches his lead. So when they hit traffic, Cale Yarborough had to drop off the pace a little bit, and Richard Petty opens up the lead on him. He's now getting into a draft area, not quite close enough yet to really benefit from it, but there's no question about it. Cale Yarborough's car is a little bit quicker right now. Here it comes. Richard Petty using as much of the racetrack as he can now, trying to keep Cale Yarborough on his hip. But this is a very delicate little thing that Cale Yarborough is trying to do. trying to get just the amount of pull out of the draft. In the right place to exercise it. He's in position, comes down low, and you see Richard Petty got to come down in front of him. Now Cale going high. Oh, that's dangerous up there. Now they're back down into the groove and coming up on traffic again. Here they move into traffic, and Richard Petty so far has been able to keep Yarborough on his hip. Pass flag being waved at the slower cars. You see them drop down out of the way, and here they come. Cale very high, drifting way up near the rail. You can see how dark the groove is as they widen that groove steadily all day long. Woof. No more than 2 feet apart at that moment. Now Cale apparently seems to want to run pretty high. That's where he seems to seat best right now. Here comes again out of the draft. Petty's got it way down low, but Yarborough's hanging in there. Here again, you get into that matter of confidence, and can Cale get it? Oh, the crowd is screaming. Can you blame them? Heading toward the end of a 500-mile race, and you got this kind of door-handle racing, and Richard Petty beats him off again. Yarborough running up high. Petty knows where he is, though. Don't you doubt it. From the high side. Just inches apart, and Yarborough gets the lead. Cale Yarborough going high. And he has the lead. Now the question is, can Richard Petty come back and stay with him now that Yarborough has the lead? And he has apparently the fastest car on the racetrack today. Petty will have to exercise traffic. And he will have to exercise the draft. But traffic in this particular instance would seem the ally of the leader, Cale Yarborough. We mentioned earlier there had been a protest about these two cars by Bobby Allison. Now, you really can't protest in NASCAR Grand National Racing, but it has been done by Allison. But any decision regarding that is going to have to come later. And will come in the post-race inspection time. Of course, you know, we've had quite a story already on the restrictor plate. Into effect by NASCAR for the sake of safety and for the sake of keeping the field as competitive as possible. Incredible racing in Charlotte. Back with the finish in a moment. Here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Cale Yarborough had stretched his lead over Richard Petty. It is a 2-car sprint to the finish line. But oh, what a siege of door-handle to door-handle racing these two fellas gave us. Wasn't it something? And they'll resume that rivalry tomorrow at the American 500 in Rockingham, North Carolina, on the 1-mile high-banked oval. The final event on the NASCAR Grand National season for this year. So unless Cale Yarborough runs into some kind of misfortune between here and the end of the race, he is going to win the National 500. Be getting the white flag right here. Here he goes into the final lap with the crowd on its feet roaring. Richard Petty has never won on this racetrack, and he is going to be denied once more. And these two automobiles have just been totally dominant. In the big wreck that happened earlier, took out David Pearson and Charlie Glotzbach. Those were the only two cars in the field that apparently could run with these two. And Cale Yarborough is headed down off the turn, looking for the checkered flag. Here comes Yarborough wins it. From Clemensville, South Carolina, Richard Petty, North Carolinian, takes second place. So quite a performance. by the strong, stocky fellow from South Carolina, Cale Yarborough. Lap money now, let's see, 243 laps times 100, that's $24,300. He's going to collect total money of better than $43,000, and only one other payoff was larger. That was 1971 at the Ontario Motor Speedway. So here comes the winner. It'll be a while before we have the final results official, but unofficially, this is the way it finished. Cale Yarborough, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, and Benny Parson.
Well, I'm tired, too.
You know, Herb said you want to go out there and run in front all day and get all the lap money. I think you've just collected the biggest payday in the history of Grand National stock car racing.
Well, I don't really know what it was, but I know this car care Chevrolet. Here's Miss Car Care right here. Ran good all day, and I just got so many people to thank for it. Valvoline, all the Goodyear tires, just everybody you can...
Cale, you had to exercise a little patience and some great discipline in the last few laps, though, and you had to wait till you had the right time.
Well, I did. A time or two, I got an opportunity to get by Richard, but I saw I was going to take a real big chance of doing it, so I dropped back and waited till I had a good shot at him. But I'll tell you when I think the turning point in the race was when the big wreck happened down coming out of the fourth turn, and I missed it. It happened right in front of me, and I came all the way down on the apron to miss it. And I said to myself then, you know, I thank the good Lord. I said, if you got me through that, you must be going to ride with me all day. So,
aren't you glad you came home to do your racing?
I sure am.
Cale, congratulations. Cale Yarborough wins the National 500 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. An incredible performance, a remarkable performance in so many ways because he ran in front. Herb Knapp told us earlier they were going to run in front, collect as much money as they could, and they've collected a record amount. So it is the fourth win of the year for Cale Yarborough. Runs his winnings up to right at $157,000. The results are unofficial at this moment, but Cale Yarborough is happy as he can be. It was quite a day of racing here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is Keith Jackson. We hope you've enjoyed it, and now we go back to our ABC studios in New York.